So Namibia is 25. I won't be at the Independence Stadium. Uh, nah, I'm instead going to honor someone else. I'm going to attend a funeral. So yeah. But before I drive out, I've been watching the whole celebration, 25 years, and all of that. And I watched the new parliament as they inaugurated people and so forth. And people were honored, and all of that. And it doesn't mean that the problems are gone. One thing that that my mind has is this excitement for problems. When there's a problem, you want to fix it, just like an engineer would want to fix something. So when I look at the planet, I'll just say it. When I look at the planet, when I look at Africa, when I look at Namibia, when I look at Namibia, I sort of see it as an engine. If what we have now is a country, right? So you have a country and you have people in the country, right? And what you want is prosperity. That's the main goal for any country, is prosperity. You can have peace, but there also has to be prosperity. Peace without prosperity is almost meaningless, right? So I've been through all phases of life. Uh, Most people wouldn't want to believe this, but I've been through a lot of phases in life. I have experienced, and as I experienced, I was this kind of child that observed, and as he observed, he sort of records. So that means when I'm here now, I can reflect back on that, connect those dots, see what that experience was, why it was, how it affected others, who was the affecter, and so forth, right? So that's how I look at most things. I always tinker, right? So the whole thing, what will make it, prosperity. How do you gain prosperity? You look at a country. We have regions in our country, regions that are not connected. Okay, I watched the show where they were showing how they are connecting the regions, right? Or now attempting to connect the regions. Okay, cool. um the thing that should be understood, that hasn't been understood by our elders, and I don't know why, and that isn't understood by most people, by most critics, by most global people, is that just like a road connects towns. One town is connected to the other town with roads. That's one link. That's one link, but it's not a sociable link, right? The link that can connect Namibia, right, being a desert country, is water. You see, the Zambezi, the Kavango, they have water there, right? They have rivers, annual rivers, and there is another uh, annual rivers that we have that are not connected manually. This is disrupting nature, of course. But just like roads are connected, what you want to do is, for a country that has problems with water, is create an infrastructure where you give water, right? It's a big project, having pipes that connect rivers to different towns. You can have one town connecting to the river, the other town connecting to the other town, and the other town connecting to the other. Then you don't have water problems, right? Now, as you have this sort of connection, right? It's a link. It's a link. It's a link. So now you have a link. Now you have water where once it was dry, right? And where the water is, where they do agriculture, right? We have now farmers that are taking their ideas and everything to the regions that had water in reach but did not have the innovation uh, in agriculture, because Namibian agriculture needs to be, there needs to be innovation, and this this comes from learning from others. I think, as the Chinese are teaching us, the more the merrier. If you see certain natural staples that thrive, then assist those natural staples. Don't look at the world's staples. The other day I was eating what is that? It's a natural berry, and I say it tastes better than grapes, right? And it can actually become a delicacy for people who are not Namibian, because I don't know whether or not it grows in Namibia or not. So, when people, there is talk of industrialization, but there is not talk about enriching our natural richness. When people talk about our natural resources, people keep referring to mines. Those are not the only ones that are our natural resources. Our natural resources are, grapes. Grapes were something that was in the wild too, before it, someone decided to cultivate grapes, just like bananas were cultivated, right? So we can also cultivate our natural products. Kavango lemon, or some call it Vambu lemon, they also have juices. Can that not be cultivated? And as we cultivate that, that becomes a Namibian something. It becomes a Namibian brand. Where else can this be found in the world? Only in Namibia, right? So, and in that, you are not only creating, you are creating something different for the world, and that's what the world wants. The world wants something different, and the next thing you know, you will have more people wanting what you have than you could have imagined, and that's from not knowing what you have. Makweo, delicious, and it can be cultivated. It can be cultivated so that you know uh, so that it can be grown commercially, right? All of these Namibian natural delicacies are not being promoted throughout this whole Namibia 25 years on. Namibia 25 years, what I haven't seen is the basic promotion of Namibian things: maguni, makweo, nombe, right? You know, we heard of the Mahangu champion, Mahangu. I'm not a big fan of Mahangu, but there are other things other than Mahangu that people live on and thrive on, right? So this shows an arrogance that has been developed by us. I'm one of these people. I am a villager who ended up overstaying in the towns to the point where he forgot uh, just how important the village is, just how rich it really is, to the point where, you know, I would consider myself poor in the village while I would actually be rich in the village, right? And what makes our villages poor is not the lack of ABC and the ABC, it's the lack of social reform, right? So, getting electricity to the villages, I'm sure that's something that's going to happen, as we're being told, getting electricity and water. Now, you know, the connection of water, this is doable, a very, very self-sustaining project that will transform Namibia completely. Not having drought crisis or water crises. Imagine, this would mean regions in collaboration with one another, irrespective of the terms, right? And you know, these ideas, I mean, anyway, you know, there's water, and apart from you know, completely transforming our land from being in semi-desert and whatever, and finally, you know, we can transform it. That's kind of the beauty of innovation. That's kind of the beauty of technology. We can turn, like here in Okanja where we live. When we came here, you know, the ground is hard, whatever, but you know, I walked it, and I was able to plant watermelons. I was able to there was, my father managed to plant maize, and the house now has oranges, mangoes, guavas, even grapes, right? Even grapes, you know, within the house. So this means it's possible to do this, but the thing is, water is the expense. But if you can, uh, you know, connect regions by using pipelines, right? Utilizing the rivers, right? Utilizing floods, you know, to your advantage. You know, that's, you know, we are men. That's why we have men, as in men, including women. That's why we have brains, because we can create tools. So you create tools and you do that. And you know, water isn't a problem anymore, and it makes something that was very expensive to do cheaper, and that would make the product in itself cheaper, and that in the end leads to less reliance on the outside, because as Namibians, we are accused of being very you know, people who rely on government too much. We are too reliant. Well, here's the truth: the government is also too reliant on other countries, and that's an African disease. Africa is too reliant on other continents. And for Namibia, there is a cure, and that is connection by infrastructure. You know where your water comes from. And because of the symbolism of water, and today's National Water Day, in case people didn't know, as well as 25. So, yeah, that's what that's why I started to think about water. So, water is a symbol of life, right? And where it comes from, knowing that this water comes from that certain place, wouldn't you be grateful that someone is finally, relieving a burden on you? That person in turn becomes your friend. In turn, you get more society connection indirectly, right? It stops becoming from those people to our, right? When you connect through rivers, it doesn't become that region's river. It becomes our river. It becomes our rivers. We might say this when we speak of Namibia, our rivers, but we don't really mean it. There are people that feel entitled to this, right? So there is still a lot of work that has to be done in terms of the constitution, because traditional leaders, I believe, are still a hindrance. Traditional leaders are still a hindrance. They are opportunist. They are very opportunistic, and in their opportunism, they don't really empower their people. Because if traditional leaders were to empower their people, then their people would see the potential that they have uh, in terms of their environment and what they can accomplish. Innovation, thinking ahead, there's the future. So, yeah, that is creating something from nothing. You want job creation? What about creating jobs that actually empower people's lives, right? We're talking about solar panels. Let's put solar panels in the hottest areas of our country and let those be the suppliers of electricity to some local municipalities. Or better yet, let's create our own solar panels. Engineers, come on, guys. You're talking about job creation? There are women that are in India who live in caves who've been able to create their own solar panels. They have light. So, job creation, sure, there is abundance of things that can be done. But I'm sure everybody, there are people, competent people that know this and are striving to make these contributions possible.